This is my daughter, Sophie Khan. Actually, introduce yourself.
Introduce myself. I'm Sophie Khan Levy, and sorry, my voice is going funny. I am Shaheen's daughter, Shaheen Khan, obviously Khan Levy, and I have recently graduated from drama school, and have just finished a production of Cymbeline, playing Imogen, but Inujan, because it was a Indian fused production. Which I actually had not expected that I was going to be straight away in an Indian part, because I'm mixed race. I've never been considered just as an Asian actor, but it was very nice actually that my first job was at Tara, which was where Mum started. It was kind of like coming full circle.
Yeah, I like that.
Did you see the performance at Tara?
Yeah. I saw the first performance and one of the last performances.
Yeah, because it was a touring production, so it opened in Coventry, and then 3 months later we were in London. Yeah. So you saw it right at the beginning and then right at the end.
It was really actually quite moving for me as a mother, because it was literally in that space, because that space hasn't changed. It will do now. But, if somebody had said to me, 30 years from now, your daughter will be on this stage, I would have said, really? I would not have believed it. I'd have probably said, no, it's too hard.
Which is what she said throughout the entire time that me and my sister said, oh, we want to act. Mum was just like, no, don't do it. It's too hard, don't do it. It's just awful. It's awful, don't do it. And then even now, whenever we're introduced to one of your friends, an actor, writer, director, whoever it is, they're like, are you seriously going into it?
I know, it's so awful now.
Why are you doing it? We're like, I've only just started, so this is really unhelpful.
We were so radical, and now for our children, most of us, it's because it's such a tough profession, and you just think, you've got these kids who are so bright and smart and whatever, they could do anything. But there's also a part of me, actually, that's very proud that they've chosen to go into follow my footsteps in a way, but hopefully leave a bigger imprint than me.
So what's tough about it?
Well, for me as an Asian actor, it's very tough, because a lot of my contemporaries, people I've worked with in the past, they are doing really, really well. And it's not, I've done a lot of good stuff. So for me, I feel like I should be a bit, have a bigger profile, be working a lot more than I am. Yeah, for me, there's that frustration. And so, obviously, you worry for your girls that you don't want that journey for them. You want a slightly different journey. Because each generation wants the next one to have a better route to whatever.
But you don't think you're necessarily treated as an Asian actor?
Well, I hadn't thought that I was, and during my training it was never, no one ever thought of me as just that, you do the training and you play whoever they want you to play. I played like a Welsh woman in my final year. But then having come out, it is a little bit different, and I'm not sure whether it's my name or because I have Khan in my name that people immediately associate it with that, or whether it's just that if that's a part of you, people don't seem to be able to get away from that. So my experience so far has actually been more focused towards an ethnic actor than I ever thought I was. Because actually what's tough for me, and I guess my generation of mixed race people, is that that isn't my experience. I didn't grow up how you grew up, in a house of 21 people, with the cooking and with the... Of course, we've grown up with the cooking, but a huge part of my life is not that. I went to a school in Wimbledon. I've grown up in Wimbledon all my life. So my experience is much closer to an English experience than it is to an Indian one. So if they are and I don't think that actually the work necessarily has moved on a huge amount, that they are now representing me. They're not really, and I don't think on the TV or so for me to then, if I'm expected to be that person, I don't have the reference points, and I don't think many young Asian actors would have still those reference points. because we haven't been brought up with it. We haven't been brought up, so how they can expect, you know, you to play it is quite difficult because it's no longer us. And
That maybe you might have to start writing your own stuff to,
to
give your particular viewpoint. You
but
know,
my particular, I just find it difficult because I'm not a writer, and I don't actually have that much of a story to tell. I want to act, but I haven't gone through these things.
You haven't got the immigrant kind of
exactly.
stuff,
So
which is
writing
very
about-
rich, you know, and the sort of the intercultural kind of problems and all that. I mean, you know, she went to Guildhall. She's confident and is able to cross lots of.
And for me, I wouldn't write about an interracial conflict within me because it hasn't existed. But yet, the older that I get, and the more that I'm going into this profession, the bigger it becomes in my life, because it seems that something outside is telling me, oh, but you're that.
Yeah,
And
but
like,
you were told that you know, best to drop the Khan out of
Yeah.
your name by a
Yeah.
casting director.
Yeah, I mean, that's been really mixed, because I have asked people, you know, because initially when you see me, people don't have any idea where I'm from. It could be from Italy, I could be from anywhere, and they'd go, oh right, okay, yeah, Mexico, oh yeah, okay, fine. So people did say take Khan out, but then you're left. One of them said, but then you're left with Levy. So then that's a big Jewish name. So aren't you just in the same kind of boat? But I don't know. Being
And
at
a
the
stage name.
Yeah, and a stage name.
But then what, you know, I mean, I know actors who've changed their names. Tariq Ali Bhai changed it to Anthony Zaki. It didn't mean that he got any more work, I don't think, you know. So I'm not sure.
It's just difficult, and also another thing is that my mum is in this profession, so denying the Khan from my name, or denying, you know, trying to go, oh well, maybe they just won't know, I'll take it out of my name, also means in a way then denying all of that, and all that history, and the fact, and anything that might come from that side of it, trying to be like, oh no, I'm just gonna segregate that side of it, which just doesn't seem right. And other people have said, it's your name. It's a great... I like the sound of the name. I actively chose it as a stage name. I was Sophie Levy for a long time, but I chose it as a stage name of Sophie Khan Levy because I like the sound of it. I think it's a strong name, and it's got my mum's name in it.
But also for me, it's like a way forward. You know, Khan Levy, you can't get two more distinct kind of separate names together, which is like, for me, this is how it should be, you know, together as opposed to separate, different, you know. Yes, we've got differences, but essentially we're the same.
So you've got a battle on your hands. New
Yeah,
battle.
yeah. It does feel like a new battle, but a very odd one, which only some people are still... You know, a lot of people have been like, well, you're fine, you can play anything. You can play this, you can play that, you can do this. And then some people are not so open to that. But
Yes.
I know, I mean, I thought, you know, when I was growing up, whatever, I did think there would come a time when I would be at the RSC playing Cleopatra or whatever. You know, I did. And because my role models, you know, were like Glenda Jackson and Jane Lapotaire and people like that. And I thought that would be my journey. Hasn't been like that at all. So, you know, it's quite frustrating. And in a way, you kind of hope that your child, the next generation, will have that kind of journey. But already we're finding out that actually, you know, it's not
really
going to
hasn't
be
changed that
easy.
much,
Yeah.
no. But I'm going to change it, it's all right. I'll be there playing Cleopatra.
Good.
Excellent. Did you want to say anything else? Or, you know, I just wanted to bring you in because I thought, you know, this little exchange would make sense.
Yeah.
I knew it would happen.
I mean, I suppose in a way, you know, you were saying that I don't want you to go into the professional, that kind of stuff. That was, you know,
that was
earlier
early,
on,
yeah.
But, you know, Sudha and I wrote this radio series called Girlies, and we had both Sophie and Nyla in it. So at a very early age, I had already sown the seeds.
Yeah. And I think that because you were writing at home with Sudha, we were there all the time and playing games, and it was always, everything was a drama game. Our games or storytelling was just extended for us than it probably was for everyone else, because we were doing it with actors. We were having our nighttime story read by actors every time, and they weren't an audio book or whatever. So it's almost,
it was
like,
too much fun.
It was too much. Yeah, it was sort of like, well, am I going to do that, or am I going to do what? I don't know what my dad's. He's come home and he's just going upstairs and having a shower. I want to do what Mum's doing. I've seen it all day and it looks fun. I'll do that. Yeah. So here I am doing it.
It'd be great when we, because we did a reading together, and it was kind of weird for me having my daughter there, you know. But I'd quickly just tell you the story with Nyla, because, you know, she's doing this, Sudha had written Golden Hearts, and it was a site-specific thing at St. George's. And the two of us were in it together. And that was my first experience of working with my child. And it was really funny, because it was literally 20 years that Nyla had been born in that hospital. And we did this work. And then after lunch, Sudha said, "Where's Nyla?" And I went, "Oh my God, where is she? Why isn't she here?" You know, I went into like a mother's mode, instead of just, if it was another actor, you'd just go, "Well, she's gone to the loo," or whatever. But because it was my child, I was like, she's got to get it all right, you know. Anyway, we sat down, and Philip Osmond said he'd ask us, you know, if you were a song, what would you be, or whatever. So we played this little game. And at the end, Nyla said the song she'd be was something from, what is that, Rock? School of Rock.
Oh.
Yeah. And it was a song from School of Rock, like something like "Stay Back, Get Back." And I was sitting next to her, and we kind of looked at her, and she said, "Mother, it's time to cut the umbilical cord." And I was just like, oh my God. Had I known this when I'd given birth to you that many years ago, and they'd said, "This child will tell you to cut the umbilical cord," I would have gone, "Take her back."
The tape's coming to an end.
Okay.
So either we're going on to another tape, or we can say thank you.
I think, yeah, that's fine.
Thank
isn't
you.
it? Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much.